In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a podcast website step by step. I will specifically show you how to create a podcast website using WordPress. WordPress is the free software that we are going to use in order to create our website and also customize it just the way you want. And don't worry if you are new to WordPress, because I'm going to hold your hand every step of the way. To create our website, we are going to use only free resources. The only thing you need to pay for is a domain name and web hosting, which is a standard for every website. So in this tutorial, I will show you how you can get your very own custom domain name and web hosting. I will show you how you can install WordPress onto your website, and I'll also show you how you can customize your website step by step. Before we get started, let me show you what you will achieve by the end of this tutorial. So if users land on the home page of my website, first of all, they see the logo, the menu, as well as these social icons. So if you have some social platform, you can go ahead and link them up. We also have this hero section, which displays the name of the podcaster as well as the image of the host. Going down, we also have this button which users can click to take them to the podcast archive page. Going down, we have a section for about the podcast. Here we have some numbers that shows our users how many subscribers we have, number of guests we invite, the series, as well as customers. So this means that you can also use your podcast to advertise people's businesses. Going down, we have some featured episodes where users can easily come to listen to some of our featured episodes. So if I want to listen to Smart Money Moves, I just click on it from here, and now it's playing.
Are you a beginner looking to invest and secure your financial future?
I hope you can hear it. Perfect. I stop it. I also have two buttons that can take users to the archive page of the podcast. Going down, I have a section that you can use to display logos for the brands you have worked with. Going down, I have a call to action that users can use to connect with us. So when they click on this, it will take them to the contact page of our website. So if I click, you see that that's taking me to the contact page where users can easily fill this form, or they can pick our location, email, or phone numbers and get in touch with us. Perfect. And finally, we have the footer section, which is being controlled by the team. The next page we want to look at is the podcast page. That is the archive page for all the episodes we have on the website. So these are the various episodes. Users can easily choose the particular one they want to listen to, and they can play it from here.
Are you a beginner looking to invest and secure your financial future?
I hope you can hear that. So from here, you see the name of the podcast, the title of the episode. Users can go ahead and download the file. They can play it in a new window to also show the duration of the episode as well as the date on which it was recorded. We also have some small description for the episode. Going down, users can easily leave some comment if they want to get in touch with us through the episode. Apart from the main archive page, you can also go to individual podcasts. For instance, I have personal finance podcast. I open it up, and from here, users can equally listen to our podcast. Perfect. We also have the about page, which I will be showing you how to customize in this tutorial. We have the blog page, so users can easily click on our blog posts to read them. And don't worry as to how you can create blog posts for your website. I'll be showing you a free tool that you can use to generate your blog posts. And finally, we have the contact page, which we have already seen. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a fully customizable website that you can use to do your podcasting. So if you like what you have seen, buckle up and let's get started with the step-by-step tutorial. Hello guys, this is Swadik here at Dikupages Web, where I do web tutorials just like this one. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. That said, let's jump into the video. To make any kind of website, you need to get a domain name and a web hosting, which is a standard for every website. Now, what is a domain name? A domain name is simply the address of your website For example, your businessname.com, google.com, facebook.com, or even dikupages.com. Now, what is a web hosting? A web hosting is simply a server where all the text, images, videos, audios, and even documents of our website will be stored so that anybody around the world can have access to them on our website wherever they are. This server is sitting somewhere in the world which runs 24/7 so that our website will always be live across the internet. So to get the fastest, reliable and cheap web hosting, go over to your browser and enter dikupages.com/nh. Hit enter and this will bring you to namehero.com. Namehero is an award-winning web hosting platform which is blazing fast, easy to use, and has a supreme reliability that scales. At the time of recording this video, NameHero was powering over 750,000 websites. NameHero offers different web hosting services like website builder, web hosting, reseller hosting, and managed cloud. You can also buy domain names only on NameHero. For this tutorial, we are going to concentrate on web hosting, which is a shared hosting service. If we scroll down, you see the various shared hosting packages on NameHero, where they have the Starter Cloud, Plus Cloud, Table Cloud, and Business Cloud. With the Starter Cloud, which is ideal for beginner or personal websites, the price starts as $2.15 per month, where you can get only one website, 1 GB RAM, unlimited SSD storage, free cPanel, free and auto SSL certificate, free website migrations, and free light speed. The Plus Cloud, which is best for average websites, has a starting price of $4.79 per month, where you can host up to 7 websites with 2 GB of RAM, unlimited SSD storage, and you also get the rest of the features on the Starter Cloud. Next is Table Cloud, which is the most popular, has a starting price of $7.38 per month, where you can host unlimited websites with 3 GB RAM. With the Table Cloud, you get unlimited NVMe storage, which is highly faster than the SSD storage. You also get a free domain when you buy a hosting of up to 2 years or more. You also get free cPanel accounts, free and auto SSL certificate, free website migrations, free enhanced WordPress security, that is if you are going to be using WordPress to creating your website, free premium SSL certificate for those who will be making e-commerce websites, and finally free live speed. The fourth package is the Business Cloud, which is ideal for e-commerce websites, with a starting price of $11.08 per month, where you get the same features as the Table Cloud, but this time around you get 4 GB of RAM, as well as free email filtering. So choosing any of these packages will depend upon the kind of website you want to create. If you are just starting out or you just want to test NameHero, you can start with the Starter Cloud. For this tutorial, I'm going to choose the Plus Cloud because I want to be able to host more than one website. So I click on Order Now under the Plus Cloud. From here, you can choose to register a new domain or use a domain you already own. So if you have a domain name which you have bought from a different registrar, you can enter the domain right here and get your hosting from NameHero. For this tutorial, I'm going to register my domain with NameHero. So I click on Search Domain, then I go ahead and enter in my domain. It should be noted that if the domain name you want to use is already registered, you cannot also register it. You just have to choose a different domain name. Next thing you want to do is drop down the arrow right here and choose the particular domain extension you want to use. Choosing any of these domain extensions will depend upon the kind of website you want to create. For instance, if you want to create a website for a non-profit organization, I would advise you go in for .org. But if you want to create a business website, like an e-commerce website, I would advise you to go in for .com, especially if you want to go international. Then you go ahead and click on Search. Congratulations, Dikupages site is available. Next, you go ahead and click on Continue. Next thing you need to do is choose a billing cycle, and right here you will see that you'll be presented with 3 different packages, and you see that you can buy a 1 year of web hosting, 2 years, or 3 years. If you are going in for a 1 year hosting, the price is $5.53 per month. For 2 years web hosting, you get 6% discount, where the price will reduce to $5.16 per month. If you are going in for 3 years, you get a 13% discount, where the price is $4.79 per month. For this tutorial, I'm going to choose 1 year. Going down, you can choose a backup plan if you want, and each package you choose will come with its price. For this tutorial, I'm not going to go in for backup plan. If you also want to add a malware scanner, you can go ahead and select this checkbox, which is going to cost you additional $5. I don't want to go in for this. Going down, you will get 2 options for SSL certificates, of which the first one is free and the second one will cost you $99.95. I'll go with the free one, then I go ahead and click on continue. In here, there are other features you may want to add to your web hosting package, that is DNS management, ID protection, and email forwarding. DNS hosting can help improve the speed of your website. ID protection will protect your personal information and reduce the amount of spam in your inbox. With email forwarding, you can get all your emails forwarded to an alternate email addresses so that you can monitor all of them on a single account. So choosing any of these services will depend upon your website's requirements. For now, I'll just go ahead and click on continue. And right here, you see the hosting package you've selected and its price, followed by your domain name, which is $15.98 per year. The total amount for everything will be $195.38 per year. But because of a 63% discount, you'll be saving $113.02. So now the total amount is $82.36 per year. Going down to billing details, if you are an existing customer, you can go ahead and click right here, and then you enter your email and password in order to log in. If you are a new customer, then you have to go ahead and click on create a new account. Then from here, you enter your personal details, that is first name, last name, email address, and also go ahead and enter in your phone number. Next is billing address, where you enter your company name, which is optional, street address, city, state, postcode, and country. Next is additional information, where they ask you how did you hear about us, so you can go ahead and choose accordingly. Then you also go ahead and choose a support PIN. This is a 4-digit number which you will choose in order to identify you when you are contacting Name Hero for support. Next, you enter in your password and also go ahead and confirm it. Going down, you go ahead and enter in your payment details, that is your credit or debit card number, the expiry date, and then the CVV number. When that is done, you agree to the terms of service, then you go ahead and click on checkout. So I'll enter all these details right here, click on checkout, and meet you on the next page. When the order is complete, it will bring you to your dashboard. On the left hand panel, the first thing you see is home, which will bring you to the dashboard when you click on it. Next is my cloud, where you have access to the hosting package you've just bought. At the moment, you see that under my services, I have 2 packages, which means I've bought 2 different web hosting packages. Next is domains, where you have access to the domains you've bought on Name Hero so far. Next is billing, and finally support. If you have any issues with your hosting, this is where you come in order to open a ticket. And from here, Name Hero will help you with whatever queries you may have with regards to your web hosting. So that's it on how to get a domain name and web hosting on Name Hero. Now let's install WordPress on our web hosting. To install WordPress upon logging into your Name Hero dashboard, next thing you want to do is come over to My Cloud. Then you go ahead and click on My Services. In here, you see all the web hosting services you've bought with Name Hero. All what you need to do is go ahead and choose the particular one you want to install WordPress on. For this tutorial, I'm going to choose Web Hosting Starter Cloud. Right here under Actions, you go ahead and click on Login to cPanel, which will open in a new tab. And now we are inside our Name Hero control panel. Scrolling down to Software section, you go ahead and click on SoftwareClose App Installer. With SoftwareClose App Installer, you are just a few clicks away from installing WordPress. Right here, you see WordPress and some other content management systems. If you cannot see WordPress here, you can go ahead and click on Blocks at the sidebar. Then you go ahead and click on WordPress. And it will take you to an interface where you click on Install. Since we can see WordPress right here, you can just go ahead and click on install. And from here, under choose installation URL, you need to make sure that HTTPS is selected. Next is choose a domain. This is where you see the domain you just registered. For this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and use a subdomain, which is podcast.dikupagesweb.com. In directory, you don't want to put anything there, so I take off WP. Going down, under site settings, we have site name as well as site description. So you can go ahead and enter in your site name and description here. I'm not going to be doing that here. I'll show you how you can change the name of your website as well as the site description after we have finished installing WordPress. Next, we have admin account. This is where you want to choose your admin username, admin password, as well as the email address. Take note, these are the details you always use to log into your WordPress website in order to edit it. So the admin username, I'll go ahead and enter in my name. Next, I have admin password. I'll hide it for obvious reasons. Next is email. I'll go ahead and enter in my email right here. All is set. Going down, I click on install. And WordPress will install in some few seconds, depending upon how fast your internet connection is. Alright, congratulations, the software was installed successfully. Next, we have our web address right here. You can easily click on it and it will take you to the front end of your website. We also have the administrative URL. For this link, where you click on it, it will log in straight onto your WordPress dashboard. I don't want to do that. I rather want to click on the main URL, which will take me straight onto the front end of my website. With this, I'll be showing you how you can log in into your WordPress website. So to log into your WordPress website, all what you need to do is click at the end of your URL, then you bring /wp-admin. Hit enter, and this will take me to the login page. This is where I enter my username as well as password. Remember, these are the details we set when we're installing WordPress. So I enter my username and then password. Hit enter, and this will take me to the dashboard of my website. Awesome. Now I can exit out of here. So that's it on how you can install WordPress and also log into your website. The next thing we want to do is go ahead and clean and also set up our WordPress website. So first of all, I don't need all these widgets, as you can see. So what I do is I click on screen options. Then I go ahead and untick all these. Now this is clean. Next, I go over to posts. The moment you install WordPress, you'll be given this hello world post. We don't need that. I click on trash. Then I go over to the trash and I empty the trash. Next, I go over to pages. We have these two pages. I don't need them. So I go ahead and select all. Then I go over to bulk actions, move to trash, apply. Then I go over to the trash. I empty the trash. Next, we go over to appearance. Appearance is where we can install a theme for our website. Take note, a theme is basically the design and layout of your website. At the moment, we have these three themes, and this is the very one which is active. Now, if I go over to the front end of my website, now this is the look and feel of my website. If I go back to appearance, I can choose any of these themes as my default theme. So if I hover on this, then I click on activate, you see that this is now the active theme. If I go over to the front end and refresh, you see my theme has been changed. Awesome. So going back, I'm going to go ahead and delete these two themes since I'm not using them on my website. So I click on theme details, delete, okay. Theme details, delete, okay. Unfortunately, we cannot delete this theme simply because we need an existing theme to work with. However, after we have installed a theme that we want to use on our website, we can now go ahead and take this off. Next, we go over to plugins. We have these two plugins which we don't need on our website. So I select all, bulk actions, delete, apply. Then I click on OK. and they are gone. So basically, these are the cleaning up we want to do. Next, let's go ahead and do some basic settings. To do that, I go over to settings, then I click on general. Remember, I said I will be showing you how you can change the name of your website as well as the site description. Well, this is where you can do that. First of all, we have site title. At the moment, it is set to my blog. So I take this off and I enter the name of my website. And the tagline is going to be the best personal finance and investing podcast. Going down, I click on save changes. And now you see the new name of my website here. If I go over to the front end and refresh the page, you see it right here as well as my site description. Awesome. Going back, next I go over to permalinks. This is where you want to change your permalink structure from day and name to post name so that you always have clean URLs on your website. Going down, I click on save changes. And now we are done with the cleaning up and also setting up our WordPress website. Now that we are done cleaning up and also setting up our website, the next thing we want to do is install a theme for our website. At the moment, if we go over to the front end of our website, this is the look and feel of our website. As you can see, it's very plain and boring. So we are going to go ahead and install a theme that is going to change the whole layout of our website. So going back to the dashboard, I go over to appearance, click on themes. Next, I click on add new. From here, we have a bunch of themes we can install on our website. Unfortunately, we cannot use all of them. So we go to search themes and search for the very theme we want to use on our website. And the name of this theme is Blocksy. I have Blocksy right here. I just hover on it, then I go ahead and click on install. It is installed. I click on activate. Now our new theme has been installed and activated. If I go to the front end of my website and refresh, you will now see the new look and feel of our website. However, it's still plain and boring, and I'll be showing you how you can make it beautiful in a moment. Going back, we don't need this theme anymore, so I click on theme details, delete, OK. And now we have the only theme we want to use on our website. The next thing we want to do is install an additional plugin that will enable us to unlock all the features of the Blocksy theme. If you look on top right here, you see that we have this notification that says, thanks for installing Blocksy, you rock. We strongly recommend you activate the Blocksy Companion plugin. This way you will have access to custom extensions, demo templates, and many other awesome features. So all we need to do is go ahead and click on Install Blocksy Companion. Now the Blocksy Companion plugin has been installed. The next thing we want to do is go over to starter size. And right here we have some starter templates we can import onto our website and customize it just the way we want. For this tutorial, we are going to go ahead and use this very one, that is Persona. So all what you need to do is go ahead and click on import. From here, you'll be required to install a child theme which is optional, so I'm not going to go ahead and install it. I click on next. From here, you'll be presented with two page builders, that is Gutenberg and Elementor. For this tutorial, I'm going to use Elementor. Elementor by far is the most popular page builder in WordPress. I click on next, and we'll be required to install these two plugins, that is Elementor and then WP Forms. Elementor, take note, is the drag and drop page builder that we'll be using to designing our website, and then WP Forms is a contact form plugin that will enable us have a contact form on our website. So make sure all is selected, then you click on next. We need to import all these, that is options, widgets, and content. So I click on install, and the installation has started. So you patiently have to wait for it to finish installing. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and get back to you when the installation is done. Alright, the website has been imported successfully, and it took about 2 minutes to finish. So I can start by customizing the website or visit my new site. I'm not going to do any of this now. If I go to the front end of my website and refresh, you will now see the new look and feel of my website. Very neat and clean. So this is how our new website will look like, and I'll be showing you how you can customize it to make it your own. So that's it on how to install a theme and also import a demo website. With the installation of our theme out of the way, the next thing I'm going to show you is how you can customize your website. This is where you can change the appearance of the header of your website as well as the footer of the website. So to do that, I go ahead and click on Customize. The first thing I'm going to work on is the colors of my website. To do that, I go over to Colors. Under Global Color Palette, at the moment, these are the colors we are using on our website. If I drop down the arrow here, you see that Palette 2 is active. If I choose Palette 1, you see that the colors of my website has changed, and it will run through the entire website. If I go back again, then I choose maybe Palette 10, you see a new look and feel of my website. Awesome. For this tutorial, I'm going to stick with Palette 2. However, I'm going to go ahead and change color 1 to the color of my choice. So I can change the color from here. As you can see, whichever color I've clicked on, it will take effect on my website. If you also know the color code of the color you want to use, you can easily go ahead and enter it in here. For this demonstration, I have a color code I want to use, which I've already copied to my clipboard. So I make sure first of all I enter hashtag, then I go ahead and paste in my color code. As you can see, the color has run through the entire website. So this pink color right here is my primary color. Next, I go over to color 2, and I'm going to go ahead and enter in the same color. However, this time around, I'll make it a little bit darker. Now, if I hover on this button here, you see the dark color. Awesome. So that's all the colors I want to change. Now let's choose a shortcut icon for our website. Shortcut icon is usually the icon you see on the top of your browser when you visit any website. So I go back, then I scroll down to the bottom, I click on Site Identity. And this is where you select your site icon. It should be noted that the recommended size should be 512 by 512 pixels. I go ahead and click on Select Site Icon. If you already have it in your media library, you can come in here and select it. Since I don't have it there, I go over to Upload Files, Select Files, and I have my site icon right here. I'll leave all these files under the Resources section under this lesson. You can go ahead and download it if you want to follow along. So upon selecting it, I click on Open. It is uploaded, I click on Select. I script cropping. And now I have my icon right here. Awesome. Next, let's go ahead and customize our header. And the first thing we are going to do is change the logo of our website. To do that, I just hover on it and I click on this blue icon right here. And it will activate the header customizer. Right here, I have the logo. I'll just go ahead and click on the pencil icon to choose a new logo. I go over to Upload Files, Select Files, and this is the logo I'm going to use. I click on it, then I go ahead and click on Open. It is uploaded, I click on Select, and I have the logo right here. And you see that part of the logo is already having the primary color of my website. So if you are designing your logo, you need to have this in mind. You see that my logo is too small. So what I do is I come over to logo height and I can increase it from here. I will make it 50 or maybe 45. I think 45 is cool. Next, we have the menu, which is cool. We are not going to do anything there. What we are going to do is take off the search icon as well as the button. To do that, I just click on the X icon from here as well as here, and they are gone. However, I'm not going to leave this empty. So what I'm going to do is, under the header customizer, I have socials. So I'll just click on it. I drag and drop it right here. And now I have my social icons right here. Perfect. Let's customize it. So I click on socials. You see that we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If there's a platform you want to use which is not here, all what you need to do is drop down the arrow here. For instance, I want to use LinkedIn. I search for it. It's here. I click on it. Then I click on the plus icon to add it. It's right here. I've only added it as an example. Maybe I don't need it, so I just go ahead and exit it. Next thing you want to do is make sure that you open links in new tab when you just click on the social platforms. So I enable this. Next, we have icon size. At the moment, it is set to 15. I want to make it 12. Next, let's see how the header will appear on mobile and tablet devices. To do that, I click on tablet. At the moment, it is set to desktop. So I go ahead and click on tablet. You see that the logo is too small on tablet. So I just click on the logo right here. Then I increase the size from here, maybe to 30. I think 30 is cool. I don't need the search icon. I take it off from here. Now, if I click on the hamburger menu right here, you see that I still have the default logo here. I don't need it, and this is where we can take it off. That is off canvas logo. I just exit it from here, and now I have my menu and the social icons. Let's see how it will look on mobile, and everything is cool. Perfect. I go back to desktop mode. And now we are done with the customization of our header. Before we customize the footer, let me take you to where you enter the social links to your icons here. So I go back, scrolling up, I click on general, then I click on social network accounts. The first one I have is Facebook. So I scroll down to Facebook, which is here. I enter https://facebook.com/ then I enter the name of my Facebook page. I can say Dikupages. Next, I do the same thing for Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I have Instagram here. I'll just enter hashtag for now. And I'll do the same thing for the rest of them. It should be noted that if you don't have the social links to the platforms here, you can always come back here and enter them. So with that out of the way, next, let's go ahead and customize our footer. Scrolling up, I go back, then I click on footer to activate the footer customizer. Now, if I try to scroll, you see that the footer is having this kind of reveal effect. Let me go to the front end of my website. I go here, then I click on the name of my website from here. If I scroll down to the footer section, you see that the footer is having this reveal effect. As you can see, I don't need it, so I go back to the customizer. Then I go ahead and click on footers. I drop down the arrow under global footer. You see that enable reveal effect on desktop mode is selected. I just go ahead and click on it. And now reveal effect is off, as you can see. At the moment, you see that I have 4 columns on my footer. That is the various widgets. As you can see right here, I have widget area 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't need all these. So what I do is I select middle row right here. At the moment, you see that it is set to 4. I want to use 3. And the columns layout, I'm going to go ahead and use the second one right here. Next thing I want to do is rearrange the widgets. So what I do is, first of all, I'm going to take area widget 1 off by clicking on the X icon here. You see that it's gone. And I'm going to pick widget area 2 and drop it where area 1 was. Perfect. From the footer customizer, I go ahead and pick widget area 1 and drop it right in the middle. I don't need area widget 3, so what I do is I exit it. Then I go ahead and pick area widget 4 where I have my contact information. Perfect. First of all, let's go ahead and enter in the links here. Now, if I go to the front end of my website, you will notice that all these links are not pointing to any page. They are just dummy links. So let's see how we can put some links here. Before we do that, I want to rename this page here to something else. So I go to the back end of my website and I go over to pages. I have the page right here. What I do is I click on quick edit. Then I change the title to podcast. The slag, I just take it off. If I update, automatically the slag will also be set to podcast. If I hover on view and look at the bottom part of the screen, you see that I have my domain name /podcast. Awesome. Now if I go over to the front end of my website, you now see the new name for my services page, which is podcast. So if I go back to the theme customizer and I go ahead and click on widget area 2, since the links on this menu is not pointing to any page, I'm going to go ahead and take it off. So I select it. Then I click on the 3 dots icon right here. I click on delete. And it's gone. Now let's add the menu. So I click on the plus icon right here. Then I search for navigation. I have navigation menu here. I click on it. And the title, I enter site menu. Under select menu, I drop down the arrow. So I go ahead and select main menu, and it will pull all the links we have on the top right here, as you can see. So now all these links are now linking to the various pages we have on top here. Perfect. Next, let's customize widget area 1. So I click on it. Here, I'm going to go ahead and take off the newsletter subscription box. So I click on it from here. I go to the 3 dots icon. Going down, I click on delete and it's gone. Next, I have the logo as well as this description. Now, if you try to change it from here, you see that it's not giving you the option to do that, simply because it's under visual. You can go over to text, and this is where you can set the logo, where we have the image tag up to the very end here. So what I do is I'll just select from the image tag up to this end, and I take it off, and you see that the logo is gone. Next, I click on add media. I have my logo here. I select it, then I click on insert into post, and you see it right here. Next is the description, and this is where you can change that. Alright, I've just entered my text, as you can see right here. Next, let's customize the contact information. So I click on widget area 4. I select it from here. I go over to text, and this is where I enter my phone number. I don't need fax, so I just go ahead and take it off. Contact us at, I enter my email, info@dikupages.com. Next is the social icons. So I scroll down. I have it here. I select it. Take note, we are using Facebook, Twitter, that is X, Instagram, and YouTube. So I just take off what I don't need. I don't need TikTok, Behance, and now I have the 4 platforms. Going down, let's customize the copyright section. So I click on it from here. So what we are going to change from here is WordPress up to theme author. I take it off, then I enter made by Dikupages. I can link it to my website, so I select my name right here. That is the name of the developer. I click on insert link, then I go ahead and enter my website URL. I click on apply. Maybe I want users to open it in a new tab, so I click on the pencil icon. I go to the gear right here. I check the box open link in a new tab, then I click on update. And finally, we have these 2 links, that is terms and conditions as well as privacy policy. It should be noted that you need these 2 pages, more especially if you want to monetize your website. So you need to let your users know your terms and conditions as well as how you manage their private information when you collect them. So let's see how we can create these 2 pages and also link them up here. To create these 2 pages, I go to the front end of my website, then I hover on new, click on page. I exit from here. We are seeing it because we are trying to create a page for the first time. So the first one is terms of service, or you can call it terms and conditions, whichever way you want. And this is where you want to enter the content of your terms of service. I'll leave it as empty for now. I'll go ahead and click on publish and publish. It is saved. Here you see that we don't have the WordPress side menu. So to enable it, we click on the three dots icon right here. Then we click on full screen mode. You can now see it. Now let's create another page. So I click on add new. And this one is going to be our privacy policy page. I click on publish and publish again. Now it is saved. Let's go back. Let's go to all pages. And what we are going to do is grab the pages from here. So first of all, I hover on terms of service. Then I point on view. Just right click on it. Then you click on copy link. Going back to the theme customizer, we click on area widget 5. We have the links here. Select it up. It should be noted that it will be difficult to customize them from here. So I go over to text. From here, what you need to do is take off the hashtag that is in between the two inverted commas. Then you go ahead and paste in the link you just copied. That is for terms and conditions or terms of service. The text terms and conditions, maybe I want to change it to terms of service. So I highlight everything from here and I say terms of service. Perfect. Next, we go back to our pages. Then I hover on privacy policy, right click on view, copy link, going back to theme customizer. I have privacy policy here. So what I need to do is take off the hashtag. Then I go ahead and paste in the link. And now users can click on this to go to their respective pages. All is set. I click on publish to update my changes. And now we are done with the customization of our website. I exit out of here. And you will now see the new look and feel of my website. Perfect. So that's it on how we can customize our website. If you are finding value so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It does help me out so that the video will be suggested to more people on YouTube and also benefit more people. Alright, let's continue. Now let's start designing the pages of our website. And we'll start by designing the home page. Take notice that this website is being designed using the Elementor page builder. So to start designing the home page, make sure you are on the home page. Then you go ahead and click on edit with Elementor. From here, it says that your site doesn't have a default kit. So all you need to do is go ahead and click on recreate kit. And it will take you to the Elementor backend. From here, under recreate kit, I click on recreate kit button. And it is created. I go ahead and click on save changes. I can now exit from here. Then I click on go back. Then I click on edit with Elementor again. Inside the Elementor page builder, you see this navigator. We don't really need it for now, so I go ahead and exit it. And the first thing we are going to do is change the image right here. So I just right click anywhere here. Then I click on edit container. Next, I go over to style. And you see that I have the image here. I just go ahead and click on choose image. Then I go over to upload files, select files. This is the image I want to use. I select it, then I click on open. It is uploaded. I click on select and you see it right there. Perfect. You see that the image is bright. For that matter, my texts are not all that visible. So what I do is I go to background overlay. I already have a color there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and increase the opacity. At the moment, it is set to 0.5. So I increase it from here. I'll make it 0.88. And now it looks better. So the text here, you can change it to whatever text you want. I'll leave it as hello, my name is. And the name, I'm going to change it. So I just select it from here. And I edit it from here. So I'll enter John Smith. Next, I select this text and I'll go ahead and change it from here. I already have my text copied to the clipboard. I just paste it in here. Going down, I don't need these logos. So what I do is I just right click here. Then I go ahead and click on delete and they are gone. I rather want to add a button here, so I go to the 9 dots icon right here, that is widgets, or you can call them elements, and they are right here. Under basic, I just drag and drop the button element or widget. The button text, I change it from here, and I'm going to enter listing now. The link, I remove hashtag, and I'm going to go ahead and link it to the podcast page. So I just enter podcast, and it will give me the best match. I click on it to insert the link. Now you see that the button is not in line with the colors of my website. So what I do is I change its appearance. Now if I scroll down, I have a button here which is having the appearance I want to use throughout. So I just go ahead and right click on it. Then I click on copy. Scrolling up to the new button, I right click on it. Then I click on paste style. With this, I'll have the same style as the rest of the buttons on my website. And now we are done with the hero section of our home page. Always make sure to click on update to save your changes. Going down, I don't need this services section. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I take this off, and I'm going to go ahead and use this section. So I right click here, I delete this widget, right click, delete this widget, and I do the same thing here. Now if you look at this container and this second one here, they are not in line, simply because this one is having a pattern on top. So what I do is I click on edit container right here, then I go over to advanced. Under pattern, you see that it is having 40 pixels for top. I just go ahead and click on link values together, then I take off the 40. Perfect. Next I go over to elements, and I drag in the heading element like this, and I change the text to about us. Going back to elements, I drag in the text element, and this is where I enter the about information of my podcast website. I already have my text copied to the clipboard. I take this off and I go ahead and paste in my text. You see that the title and the body is too close. So what I do is I go over to advanced. Under pattern, I unlink the values. Top, I go ahead and enter in 20. Next, I go over to elements, and I'm going to go ahead and add in the image element into the second container. I click on it from here to choose an image, upload files, select files, and I'll go ahead and select this, and I click on open. It is uploaded. I click on select. The image is too high, so what I do is I go over to style, and I'm going to go ahead and change the width. So I drag it from here, and I think 75 is cool. One thing I can also do is add a button here. So what I do is I scroll up to the hero section. I have a button here. I right click on it, click on copy. Going down, I right click right here, then I go ahead and click on paste. I change the button text to more info, and the link, I take it off, and I'm going to go ahead and link it to the about us page. So I enter about. I'll be given the best match. I click on it to insert the link. I want to provide space in between the text here and the button. So what I do is I select the text, then I go over to advanced. Under pattern, I enter 20 for bottom. Perfect. Going down, I have the numbers section, and the first one I have here is subscribers. I select it, and I'm going to go ahead and maintain subscribers. However, I'll change the ending number. That is the number of subscribers. So let's say I have 154. So I'll leave the K to represent 1000. So I have 154,000 subscribers. The next one, I click on edit, and then the ending number, I enter 15, and the suffix, I don't need the plus, I take it off, and then the title, I enter guests. I'll change the icon, so I select it from here, and I choose my icon from here. I'll search for man, maybe not man, maybe I use microphone. So I select this, then I click on insert. Next, I edit this and I change the ending number to 345 or something like that. And the title, I change it to podcast. Or maybe I can say series, whichever way you want to deal with it. And finally, the last one, I select it. Maybe I maintain the 200 and then title, I enter customers. That is if I want to monetize my website. All is set, I update. The next section, instead of videos, I'm going to change it to podcasts. So I select it, then I go ahead and edit it from here. The button, I select it, then I change the text to view all podcasts. I'll link it to the podcast page. I enter in podcast. I'll be given the best match. I click on it to insert the link. Next, I'm going to go ahead and delete all these. I don't really need them. So what I do is I just hover here and I click on the X icon. However, I need a container here, so I'd rather delete the inner containers. So I right click on the first one here, click on delete, right click here, click on delete. And I don't need this element inside, so I just right click on it, then I click on delete, and I do the same thing to this text, right click on it, delete, and finally right click, delete. So now it's empty. And later on, I will show you how we can add our podcast list right here. So the button, I can equally change it to view all podcasts. And the link, I link it to the podcast page. So I enter podcast and I will be given the best match. Click on it to insert the link. Awesome. Going down to our client section, maybe if you have worked with some brands, this is where you can enter their logos. So if you want to change this very one, just hover on it, then you click on the pencil icon, select it from here. Maybe I will use this logo as an example. I select it, then I click on select. So this is how you can change your brand logos. If you want to change the title here, just select it, edit it from here. The text here, you select it, then you edit it from here. I'll leave this dummy content for now. Going down to this new section, I don't need it, so I just hover and I exit it from here. I do the same thing right here. And finally, we have this call to action. The title here, let's talk about your project. I select it. Instead of project, I enter business. Then the text here, I can edit it from here like this. I'll leave this dummy content for now. You can just go ahead and switch your own content. And the button, I link it to my contact page. So I take off the hashtag, I enter contact. I'll be given the best match. I click on it to insert the link. You see that all my sections, they are having some numbers. So let's go ahead and rearrange them. So the first one I have is the about section. Meanwhile, it is off. So what I do is I just copy the one I have here. Going up, I paste it right here. Meanwhile, I don't want it in the middle here. I click on the pencil icon, then I drag it up. I'll change the number from 2 to 1 like this. So going down, I have 2. I'm not going to deal with the number section. And then our clients is 3, as we can see. Going down, the call to action is going to be 4. So I select it, then I enter 4 right here. Finally, let's change this image. I just go ahead and click on it. Then I select it from here. I go over to upload files, select files. And this is the image I want to use. I select it, then I click on open. It is uploaded. I click on select. And now we are done with the design of our home page. Take note, we'll be coming back to the podcast session later on in the tutorial. I go ahead and click on update. Then I go to the hamburger menu here. I click on view page. Perfect. All is set. So that's it on how we design the home page of our website. Next, let's design the podcast page. So I go ahead and click on it. Then I click on edit with Elementor. From here, what I'm going to do is remove all these containers. I don't really need them. So I start from here, exit it. I'll go ahead and take off the rest of the containers like this. Perfect. All is set. I go ahead and click on update. I go over to the hamburger menu right here. I click on view page. Perfect. So that's the bit of customization or design we are going to do on the podcast page. The next page we are going to design is the About Us page. So I go ahead and click on it. Then I click on Edit with Elementor. Inside the Elementor editor, the first thing I want to do is take off this text. I don't need it. We cannot control it using the Elementor page builder. So what I do is I go over to the back end of my website, that is under All Pages. And I right click on About Us, open link in a new tab. Right here under Except, I'll take off everything. Then I click on Update. It is saved. I exit out of here. Now if I go back to the Elementor page builder, then I refresh the page, you see that the text is gone. Now let's change the rest of the content. So the first thing I'm going to change here is this image. I just select it. I have it right here. I click on choose image. Maybe I use this image right here. Select. Awesome. Next, let's change this text. First of all, I take off this widget. I don't need it. And I'm going to change this text to About Us by selecting it, and I edit it from here. Next, I'll take off the rest of the containers. Right click, delete. So all what you need to do is just hover on edit container right here, then right click, delete, right click, delete. I don't also need this button. I just right click on it, then I delete. Next thing I do is go over to Elements, and I'm going to go ahead and drag in the text editor under the About Us title. And this is where I enter my about content. I take off the dummy content, then I go ahead and enter in my about content. And we are done with this container. Going down, this is a section for testimonial. So you can change all this text just by selecting them, edit it from here. If you want to change this title, just select it. Maybe instead of happy clients, I can say satisfied clients. Something like that. I can also change this text by selecting it, and I enter the text here. And this is where you want to enter the testimonial itself. So you may want to feature your best testimonial right here. So the title as well here, just select it and you edit it from here. The main body of the testimonial, you select it from here, and this is where you edit it from. I'll just leave all this dummy content for now. If you want to change this image, just hover on it and you click on the pencil icon, right on it, choose image. Maybe I want to use this, then I click on select. And finally, you can change the name of the one giving the testimonial from here, and also enter their portfolio right here. If you want to change the background image, just hover on the entire container, then you click on edit container. That is the 6 dots right here. Next, I go over to style. I have the image here, click on choose image. Maybe I want to use this. I select it, then I click on select. I'll add a background overlay so that the text will stand out. So I go over to background overlay, and I'm going to go ahead and choose classic under background type. The color, I'll use one of my dark colors from here, and I'll increase the opacity to maybe 0.8. Awesome. And now we are done with this section. Going down, this is where you can add your team members on your podcast. So the title here, I select it. Instead of our team, I'll enter our speakers. Or maybe if you want to put your guests there, it's fine. Going down, this is where you want to change the actual images of your speakers. So I just click on the pencil icon on this one, then I click on choose image. I'll use this one as my first speaker. Then I click on select. I change the name from here by selecting it. The title, I just enter host. If you have their social links, you can enter it right here by selecting it. And this is where you want to enter them just by clicking on the very first one, that is Facebook. Then you enter the link here. Similarly, you do the same thing for Twitter and Instagram. If you don't need them, you can easily right click, then you go ahead and delete. I'll just leave them there for now. Similarly, you can do the same thing to the second host as well as the third host. So I'll just go ahead and switch the content and get back to you. Alright, I've switched the content. The title here, instead of our speakers, I want to change it to our hosts. And we are done with this section. Going down, I want to replace this with what I had on the home page. So what I can do is, I can go to the home page by right clicking on it from here, open link in a new tab. Then I edit it with Elementor. Going down to the bottom, I have the container right here. So there are two ways I can have a copy of this on my About Us page. So what I can do is copy the entire section by right clicking on edit container, click on copy, then I come back here, then I right click right here, click on paste. And you see that I have the entire container right here. Meanwhile, I don't need this, so I just take it off. So this is one way of doing it. Another way you can do it is by saving the entire container as a template. So what I do first of all is exit out of here. Then I go back to the one on the home page. I right click on edit container right here. Then I go ahead and click on save as template. I enter the name of the template. I can just call it call to action. Then I click on save. And I have it right here. Awesome. Now I can exit from this page. So now if I want to add it to my About Us page, what I do is click on this folder icon right here. Then I go over to my templates. And here is a list of all my templates. I just go ahead and click on insert on the particular one I want to add. From here, I don't want to apply settings to the container. I click on don't apply. And it will be added. So anytime you want to use this particular container on any of your pages, you can easily go ahead and insert it just the way we did. However, we don't need this number right here, so I just right click, then I go ahead and delete. Awesome. All is set. I click on update. I exit out of here by going to the hamburger menu right here, and I click on view page. And now we are done with our About Us page. Perfect. So that's it on how to design the About Us page. Now that we are done designing our About page, next let's go over to the blog page. And here you see all the dummy blog posts we have on our website. So what we are going to do is take off all the dummy contents. To do that, I go to the back end of my website. Then I go over to post. And here I have all the dummy content. I select all by clicking on this checkbox. I go over to bulk actions, move to trash, apply. I can go over to the trash. Then I empty the trash. Now if I go to the front end and refresh the page, everything is gone. And I'll be showing you how you can add blog posts onto your website later on in the tutorial using artificial intelligence. And now we are done with customizing our blog page. The final page we are going to design is our contact us page. I click on it. Then I go ahead and click on edit with Elementor. Inside the Elementor editor, I can start customizing or switching the content of the page. So the first one here is address. I just select it. The title is physical address. I leave it as it is. The description is a main address. So I enter in my own address. Next, I enter in my email address or addresses. I'll just enter one. So I have info@dikupages.com. Next is phone numbers. I select it from here, and this is where I enter my phone number. If you need to enter more information and you want it to be in a separate line, what you need to do is add the break tag. And to get that, I enter the less than sign, then I bring BR and then the greater than sign. So whatever text we are going to be typing after this tag will be in a separate line. So let's say +233, as you can see. Perfect. Going down, get in touch. I'll leave it as it is, but if you want to change it, just click on it and you edit it from here. This title, let's talk about your project. So instead of project, I want to enter business. So I take it off from here and I enter business. I don't really need this text, so what I do is I right click on it, then I click on delete, and it's gone. I want to change this image, just click on it, choose image, and I'll select the main host. I click on select. The last thing we want to do is customize the contact form itself. Unfortunately, we cannot do it here. To do that, we need to head over to the backend of our website. But before I do that, I go ahead and update my page. Now I go to the backend of my website. Then I go over to WP Forms. I have the contact form here. That is simple contact form. I just click on it to edit it. So I have name, email, budget, and then comment or message. I need all this except budget. So I just hover on it. Then I click on the delete icon right here. Click on OK, and it's gone. And I want to add phone number. So under fields, I have all the fields here I can use. And I'm going to go ahead and use the numbers field. I click on it and it's added right here. I click on it to customize it. The label, instead of numbers, I change it to phone. And I will make it a required field, just like the others. Next, I go over to advanced. The field size, I change it from medium to large so that it will stretch across. I give it a placeholder text, just as we have on these ones. If you look inside the field, you see that here we have email, name, and then comment or message. I want to see the same thing here. And this way I can enter that. So I enter phone. And I'm going to go ahead and hide the label so that it will not show in the front end. So I click on hide label. Next thing I do is move the field on top of comment or message. So I take it, just drag and drop like this. Next, I click on this field, that is comment or message. Then I go over to advanced. The placeholder, instead of comment or message, I just want to enter message. Next, let's go over to settings. Then we go over to notifications. The first field we have here is send to email address. Inside here, you see that we have this tag right here. That is admin email. What this means is that when you just fill the form and submit, the content of the message will go to the email address you used when you were installing WordPress. If you don't want it to go there, you can now go ahead and specify the particular email where you want your message to be redirected to. I'll leave it as it is. The next field is email subject line. So this is the title you see from the message. From name, we are seeing this persona name because of the dummy content we imported. Let's enter the name of our website. So I enter John Smith. That is the name of my website. Going down, the next field is from email. This is the email the messages are going to be sent from. And seeing this admin email tag here means our messages will be sent from the email address we used when we were installing WordPress. But right here, we have this message that says that the current from email address does not match your website domain name. So what you want to do is enter an email address that will match your domain name. So I can enter my business email address right here. So I have info@dikupagesweb.com. I've missed S. Perfect. And now you see that the notification is gone. Next, let's go over to confirmations. And this is the message your users will see when they submit the contact form. Thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch with you shortly. So if you don't want to see this text, you can go ahead and customize it from here. All is set. I click on save. It is saved. I can exit from here. Now if I go back to my Elementor editor and I refresh the page, going down, you see that everything is now intact. I can exit from here by clicking on the hamburger menu, then I click on view page. And now we have everything intact. Perfect. So that's it on how we design or customize our contact page. Now that we are done designing our website, the next thing we want to do is make our site to be able to accept podcasts. And to do this, we are going to install a plugin onto our website that will give us the functionality to be able to add podcasts onto our website. To do that, I go to the back end of my website, then going down, I hover on plugins, click on add new. Under search plugins, I enter podcast. And this is the very plugin we are going to install, Seriously Simple Podcasting by Castors. I click on install now. It is installed, but I'm not going to activate it now. What I'm going to do is add an additional plugin. So I can enter Seriously Simple Podcasting. And this is the very plugin I'm going to install, Seriously Simple Stars. This plugin will give us the opportunity to be able to read analytics on our podcast website so that we'll be able to determine who is listening to our podcast. I go ahead and click on install now. It is installed. Now I'm going to activate all the two plugins at once. So I go over to installed plugins. I select them up like this. Then I go over to bold actions, activate. Then I click on apply. And now it will take me to the Seriously Simple Podcasting setup page. So the first thing I do is enter the name of my show. I click in here and I call it John Smith Podcast. What's your show about? I'll just enter my about content. Then I click on proceed. Next is where we upload a cover image for our podcast. And take note, the size should be 1400 by 1400 pixels or 3000 by 3000 pixels, whichever one you want to use. Since I already have my image, I'll just go ahead and upload it. Upload files, select files. I have it right here, cover, and I click on open. It is added, I click on select. Next, I click on proceed. Next is categories. First of all, I choose a primary category and I'm going to select business. Next, I have subcategory. I'll choose investing. Then I click on proceed. Next, they will want you to host your podcast with Castors. I don't want to do that. So I scroll down. Then I go ahead and click on skip step. And now we are done. Going down, you can either start creating your podcast from let's start, or you can go over to the dashboard. Let's go over to the dashboard. I'll take off these widgets. I don't need them. So I go over to screen options. Then I take them from here. Now, if we go over to the WordPress menu in the dashboard, you see that we now have podcasting. Let's go ahead and perform some basic settings. So I click on settings. And we are going to go ahead and tackle the feed details. So I click on it. This is where you can change the title of your podcast, the subtitle, the name of the host, as well as the categories. Going down, this is the description. We have the cover image here. So if you were not able to add it during the setup, you can easily go ahead and upload it from here. What you may want to do is come over to show type. This is where you want to select if your show is episodic or serial. So the choice is yours. I'll just leave it as it is for now. So all the settings are fine by me, at least for now. So that's it on how we can install our podcasting plugin. Now that we have succeeded in installing our podcasting plugin, the next thing we want to do is add our first podcast. To do that, we hover on podcasting, then click on add new episode. In here, I enter the title of my episode. Investing for beginners, secure your financial future. Next, we have episode type. This is where you select either you want to use audio or video. For this demonstration, I'll stick to audio. Then I go ahead and upload my audio file. Upload files, select files. I have my file right here. I select it, then I click on open. It is uploaded. I click on select. Next, I upload episode image and make sure that it is 300 by 300 pixels in size. So I click on upload new image, upload files, select files, and this is the one I want to use. I click on open. It is uploaded. I click on select. Going down. Next, I enter the duration of my podcast, and it's 42 minutes 40 seconds. The file size is 3 megabytes. Next is recorded date. I'll choose 1st September. Next is where you decide if you want to mark your episode as explicit or not. You can also decide to block the episode from appearing in iTunes and Google Play podcast libraries. I'll leave these two unchecked. It doesn't really matter. And the episode right here, we have tags. So the first one, I'll enter investing. Hit enter. Maybe I say money management. Hit enter. I'll leave these two for now. Going down, we have all podcasts. I'll go ahead and add new episode, and I'm going to call this one investing. I click on add new episode to add it up. Going down, you can also add a featured image. I can also add an excerpt, or better still, I'll add the content right here under the title so that it will serve as the description of my podcast. So I'll just enter in my content right here. All is set. I click on publish and publish again. Now if I go over to all episodes, you see the title of my podcast right here, the author, the tags, the podcast itself, the image, as well as the publish date. Now if I go to all podcasts, I'll right click on it, open link in a new tab. This is where you have all the list of your podcasts or of the podcasts you'll be creating on your platform. So if you want, you can go ahead and pre-create all the podcasts you want, or you can add them during the creation of your episodes. I can exit out of here and going back to the back end, let's view our podcast. So if I hover on the name, then I right click on view, open link in a new tab. This is how our podcast will look like. So we have our image, the name of the podcast, the title, and then the audio file itself. Users can go ahead and download it from here. They can even play it in a new window. We also have the duration as well as the recorded date, the description of the podcast. Now if I scroll down from here, users can leave a comment if they want to get in touch with us through our podcast. Now if I go to the podcast page, you see that automatically my page has been turned into an archive page for my podcast. So we don't really need to do much in here. However, looking at the podcast, we don't see our featured image. So what I can do is go back to the back end, and I'm going to go ahead and edit it. So I click on edit. So if you really want to see your featured images here, apart from adding your image for the podcast, you may also want to consider adding the featured image right here. So I click on set featured image. I use the same image, then I click on set featured image. It is added. I update. Now if I go to the front end and refresh, you see my featured image right here. Perfect. So that's it on how we add our first episode onto our podcast. And I'll be adding more episodes onto my podcast. Alright, I've added 6 episodes in addition to the first one I created. So now I have 7 episodes in total. And I have 2 podcasts, that is investing and personal finance. If I go over to all podcasts, right here you see the 2 podcasts I've created, that is investing and personal finance. So now if we go over to the front end, this is the first one I created. If I refresh the page, you see the rest of the episodes. Awesome. So now let's see how we can add some of our episodes onto the front end of our website. So if I go over to the home page, going down, you see that we have the podcast section, but we don't have anything there. So I click on edit with Elementor, and whilst it's opening, I go to the back end of my website. Then I go over to plugins. Under Seriously Simple Podcasting, I click on documentation, which will open in a new tab. So it will take us to the documentation page of the plugin developer. From here, I click on my podcast is managed in WordPress. Next, I go over to Advanced Installation plus Developers. And these are the 2 links we are going to be using for our website, that is podcast playlist shortcode and then podcast episode shortcode. So first of all, let's see the podcast playlist shortcode. I click on it. Going down, this is the shortcode we are going to use in order to display the playlist on our website. So I select it up, then I go ahead and copy it. Going back to our page in Elementor, I scroll down to the podcast section. Under search widget, I search for shortcode. I have it right here. I drag and drop. In here, I go ahead and paste in the shortcode I copied. And you see that I have my playlist right here. Perfect. Now if I update the page, preview the changes, going down, right here we have our podcast playlist. So users can easily listen to our episodes on the home page of our website. So if I click on the play button.
Are you a beginner looking to invest and secure your financial future? In this video, we'll explore the top 15 best investment options for beginners.
Let me take a look at this.
Are you a beginner looking to invest and secure your financial future? In this video, we'll explore the top 15 best
I stop it. Let's take a look at other ways we can display our episodes on the front end or on the home page. So I go back to the shortcode page. We've seen the first one. Going down, let's take a look at some of the attributes. So I go down to the next example. Let's copy the first one right here. Going back to the home page in Elementor, I go ahead and paste in this. However, it's not going to display any podcast or any episodes simply because we need to enter the episode numbers we want to be displayed right here. So if I go to the back end, then I go over to all episodes. Now if I hover on any of the episodes like this, down here in the bottom you will see that I have a URL, and getting to the end part of it you see a number that is 1529. So that is the post ID for this particular episode. Every single one of these is having their unique IDs. So if I hover on this and pick this one, it's going to be 1529. Going back to Elementor, I enter 1529 for the first one. And you see that I have an episode right here. Going back, let's do the same thing for the second one, which is 1528. So I take off this. Now enter 1528. And you see it right there. So you can decide the number of episodes you want to be displayed on any page you want. If I update, let's take a look. Going down, you see the 2 episodes. Perfect. If I want, I can add an additional one. So if I go back to the Elementor editor, what I need to do is click after the last number, then I bring comma, then I go back and get the post ID, maybe for this one, which is 1525. 1525, and you see it right there. If I update, then we go to the front end, you see that we now have 3 episodes. Let's see what we can also get at the shortcode page. So with this one, if you want to exclude a particular episode from the playlist, this is what you are going to use. Then you go ahead and enter the post ID of the particular episode you want to exclude. Now let's take a look at series. So if you want to display a particular series, this is what you are going to use. So let's copy it. Going back to Elementor page builder, I remove this, then I paste in the one I've copied. However, it's not going to display anything simply because we need to enter the name of the series here. So if I go back to the back end of my website, then I go over to all podcasts. So if I want to display the series in the personal finance podcast, what I need to do is get the slag. So I select it, copy, come back in here, I take this one out, then I paste the new one. So all the episodes you are seeing here are under personal finance. If I update, let's take a look. You see it right there. Now if I go back to the shortcode page, you see different shortcodes you can use on your website. You can go ahead and try them up and see the results you will get. Now if I go back, then I go over to podcast episode shortcode. Going down, we can use these 2 examples to display single episodes, and it will give us the opportunity to enter the episode ID. It will also display the title of the episode, the excerpt, as well as the player. So let's copy this. Going back to Elementor, I'll go ahead and take off this. Then I paste the new one. However, it's not going to show anything. Take note until we enter the episode ID right here. So if I go back to the back end and I go to all episodes, I'll enter this one right here, that is budgeting basics, and the post ID is 1528. Coming back in here, 1528, and it will display. So you see that I have the title, the excerpt, and then the player. If I update, then I go to the front end, you see it right there. With this particular shortcode, you can use it to display some featured episodes. So let's assume I want to display 3 episodes in this manner. What I'm going to do is point on edit container, right click, then I click on duplicate, right click, duplicate. So I want to display 3 featured episodes. This one is already intact. So next thing I do is go back to the back end. Then I'm going to pick this particular one, Smart Money Moves. The post ID is 1526. Going back, I click on the second one, then I enter 1526. Perfect. Going back, maybe I use the last one, and the post ID is 1515. Going back, I select it, then I enter 1515. I update. Let's take a look. Perfect. I think I'm going to go by this style, so I'll leave it as it is. Users can easily view all podcasts from here. Perfect. And they can listen to a single one from here. Awesome. Going back to the page editor, what I can do is change the title here. So I select it, then I can call it featured episodes. And I update. Let's see it in action. Going down, we have featured episodes. So this is how we can add some of the episodes in the home page of our website. Now the next thing we are going to do is add separate playlists to all the podcasts we have on our website. Now if I go over to podcasts, you see that we have personal finance and investing. And this particular page is showing the archives for all the episodes. And what I want us to do is have playlists for all the podcasts we have, that is for personal finance and investing, so that our episodes will not appear like the archives as you are seeing. It will rather be displayed in a playlist. To do that, we are going to create separate pages for these two podcasts. So to create our pages, we go to the back end, then we hover on new, click on page. The first one is going to be investing playlist. Take note, apart from using the Elementor page builder to add a short code, you can also do it in the Gutenberg editor. So if I click on the plus icon right here, I set for short code. I click on it, and this way I enter my short code. So let's go back to the podcast short code page. I go back, and this is the one we are going to use, podcast playlist short code. Going down, we are going to use the series, and I'll pick the first example. Copy. Going back to our page, I paste it in. However, we need to get the Slack for the series. To do that, I go over to podcasting. Then I open all podcasts in a new tab. So the Slack for investing is just investing, with everything being in small letters. I copy it. Coming back in here, I take out this, then I paste in investing. I publish again. Now if I view the page, you see all episodes under investing, and I have only 3 episodes. Awesome. Let's create our second page for personal finance. The title will be personal finance playlist. I add the short code. I have it right here. Going back to the podcast playlist short code, I copy it. It's already selected. Coming back, I paste it in here. Then I go back to podcast, and this way I get the Slack. So I copy personal finance Slack. Coming back, I take out this. Then I paste in the one I've copied for personal finance. I publish again. Let's view it. And here we have all episodes under personal finance podcast. Perfect. So that's it on how we create separate playlists for our podcast. Now that we have created our separate playlists, let's see how we can display them in the front end of our website. At the moment, users of our website cannot have access to the pages we have just created. So let's see how we can display them so that users can easily access them. And I'm going to go ahead and put everything under podcast. To do that, we go to customize. I can exit from here and here for now. Inside the theme customizer, going down, I click on menus, then I click on main menu. And this way I add my pages. So I click on add items. I have the 2 pages right here. I just click on them to add them up. Meanwhile, I don't want them to all fall under the main menu. I rather want them to be sub menus. So I pick personal finance, I drag it and drop under podcast. Meanwhile, I'm going to indent it like this. I pick the second one like this. I click on publish. I exit out of here. And now if I hover on podcast, you see that I have the 2 playlists. However, the second one is not showing simply because it's not active. So let's see how we can make it display very well. So I go back to customize again. I hover on the menu, then I click on this blue icon to take me to the menu customizer. Going down to drop down options, I click on design. First of all, I'm going to change the font size. It is 12 pixels at the moment. I click on it. Let's see how it looks. So this is the size at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and make it 14. It's now better, or better still, I'll make it 15. Perfect. I exit from here. Next thing I want to do is change the item's background color. At the moment it is white. That's why the link here is not showing. So I click on the color from here, and I'm going to select one of my dark colors. Now if I hover, you see that everything is showing clearly. Next thing I want to do is change the titles of my page. I don't want playlists to be attached to them, so let's see how we can take it off. To do that, I go back, then I scroll down to menus. I click on main menu. I have them right here. I drop down the arrow on the first one, then I go ahead and enter the new name I want. So I say personal finance instead of personal finance playlist. I do the same thing to the second one, which is investing. All is set. I click on publish. I exit from here. Now if I hover, you see that we now have personal finance and investing instead of personal finance playlist and investing playlist. So users can use this to easily go to whichever playlist they want. At the moment I am under personal finance page. I can go over to investing. Awesome. So that's it on how we can display our playlist in the front end of our website. Next, let's see how we can add blog posts onto our website. And I'll be showing you the cheapest way you can add blog posts onto your website. We are going to use an AI platform called ChatGPT. So what I do is open a new tab. Then I enter chat.openai.com. If you are new to ChatGPT, all what you need to do is go ahead and sign up. It's very simple to register. Then inside the ChatGPT interface, after logging in, you make sure you go over to new chat, and it will take you to this interface. So all what you need to do is enter the command you want from here. Then you instruct ChatGPT to give you whatever content you are looking for. Let's go over to the podcast page. I want to use one of the titles I have on my podcast to generate the blog post. I'll use the top 10 money mistakes to avoid in 2024. So I'll just copy the title like this. Then I come back to ChatGPT. Then I'll say, write a blog post for the title. Then I'll put it in quotation marks. So I'll add the double one. Inside the two quotation marks, I paste in the title. Press enter key on the keyboard, and ChatGPT will generate the content for me, as you can see. This is incredible. Perfect, it is done. So what I do is I copy everything right from the title to the very end. Right click, click on copy. Now if I come back to my website, all what I need to do is hover on new, then I click on post. I just go ahead and paste it in. One thing you can also do is go through the text and do your additions or subtractions. You can easily edit it from the Gutenberg editor. You may also want to paste your text in any word processing document so that you do the formatting or editing very well before you add it to your website. I'll assume everything is fine. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some heading tags. So I select introduction. Maybe I don't really need introduction, so I take it off. And I'm going to go ahead and add the heading tags to the rest of the headings I have. So I select the first one here. At the moment it is set to list. I click on the list icon from here, and I change it to heading, and I'll leave it as heading 2. I do the same thing here. Heading, Similarly, I do the same thing to the rest of them. So I'll do this pretty quick and get back to you. Alright, all is set. The next thing I do is go over to post. Then under categories, I want to add a category for my blog post. We are already having some categories as a result of the demo content we imported earlier on our website. So I'm not going to use any of this. I'll click on add new category. This one is under personal finance. So I enter personal finance. Take note, this category we are creating is different from the podcast categories. I add new category. It is added and also selected. Going down, you can also add some tags. So I can add money management. You can add as many as you want. Going down, let's add a featured image. I'll just select from one of my pictures from here and I set featured image. All is set. I click on publish. Publish. It is published. Let's view the post. And this is how it will look like. Perfect. If I go over to the blog page, you see the blog post right here. So users can easily come here and read all the blog posts we have on our website. So that's it on how you can add blog posts onto our website. Now let's do some finishing touches on our website. If you look at the sidebar here, we don't need this particular information here. This is from the demo content we imported. Going down, if you look at the footer under site menu, I don't want to see personal finance and investing playlist under podcast. I rather want to see home, podcast, about us, blog, and then contact. Here as well, you see that we don't have the name of our website as part of the copyright text. Let's see how we can fix all this. To do this, I click on customize. So the first one we deal with is the sidebar here. So we scroll down, then we click on widgets. I click on main sidebar. I take this off by clicking on got it. So I have the recent works here, just select it. Then click on the three dots icon, click on delete. I don't also need this meta widget. I select it, the three dots, click on delete, and it's gone. So I'll leave popular posts and then categories. Now if we scroll down, let's deal with the copyright text. So I select it from here, and this is where we add the site title. So I'll click after the current year tag, then I enter John Smith. And you see it right here. Next, we have the social icons. I don't want to see the title social icons. So what I do is I click on it from here. That's widget area 4. I have it here. I select it up, and this is the title right here. But sometimes it's difficult doing the editing in the theme customizer. So let's try. I click in here. So I'll show you how we can take it off at the back end. Let's fix the menu right here. So I go back, and we are going to go ahead and create a menu for the footer. So I click on menus, then I click on create new menu. I'll call it footer menu, and I click on next. I'm going to go ahead and add the items. So I need home, blog. Going down, I need podcast, about us, and finally contacts. I'll rearrange them. So I simply take blog and put it under about us. I can publish. Now if I select the menu by clicking on edit, initially it was using the main menu. So I select it up. You see that I have main menu right here. Just drop down the arrow. So this one too is not giving me the opportunity to switch the menus. Sometimes it happens. So what I'm going to do is I'll do it at the back end of the website. So I'll just go ahead and publish to save the changes. Then I exit from here. Alright, so from here, I hover on the name of my website. Then I click on widgets. I'll open it in a new tab. I'll bring it here. Now if I scroll down, let's see which one we are going to deal with first. So we deal with this. Going back, which footer widget area is it located? Okay, not here. Area 2, okay, I have it here. So I just select it. Take note, at the moment it is using the main menu. We drop down the arrow, then we choose footer menu. Next, let's take off the title for the social icons. So I go back. It's under area widget 4. I have it here. I select it. Then I take off the title from here. One other thing I want to do is I want to center the text here. That is the text in the middle as well as the logo. So it's under this. That is footer area 1. I select everything, just highlight, then click on the align center icon from here. Now all is set. I click on update. It is saved. If I go to the front end and refresh, you see that my menu is now intact. The text here is centered and the title for the social widgets is gone. Perfect. So this is the finishing touches we want to run on our website. Now if I go to the back end of my website, that is the dashboard, you will notice a widget here which is from the Seriously Simple Statistics plugin we installed when we're installing our podcasting plugin. And you see that we have 4 listings for today and then 7 listings this week. If I click on view all data, you see everything at a glance. Going down, we have some graphs. It will show us all episodes for the last 3 months. As you can see, my starting month is September. So these are the various number of listings for the month of September for every single episode. And it will also give us lifetime listings. Going down, we also have a section for the top 10 episodes of all time. Now if I scroll up, at the moment it's showing all episodes. I can drop down the arrow and I can see an individual series. So for instance, if I need investing, I just click on apply and it will give me all the statistics for investing. I can also drop down the arrow and choose personal finance and apply, and to give me the statistics accordingly. I can also go to an individual episodes. So these are the various episodes I have on my website. If I choose smart money moves and apply, it will give me the statistics accordingly. Perfect. So that is how you can check for your statistics. If you don't want to click on it from the dashboard, you can equally come to podcast, then you click on statistics from here. So now we have come to the end of creating our podcast website, and I hope you found value in the tutorial. If you have any questions or queries for me, just put them in the comments down below. I'll do my possible best to answer every single question you may have. So keep watching and keep practicing, and don't hesitate to share your projects with us. You can also share this tutorial with your family and friends so that they go ahead and benefit from it. Alright guys, I hope you found value in today's video. If you did, kindly hit the like button, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and also hit the notification bell so that each time I post a new video on this channel, you will be the first to know. Keep watching and I will see you in the next one.